Good morning, and it is still morning, only just, but good morning. How are you diddling? Welcome to another Dazed, Confused, Generally Buggered. How we are all currently feeling on this fine Sunday. It is a glorious day outside. Look at that sunshine creeping in behind the curtains. It is a beautiful day out there at the moment. And yeah, I thought today we would have a Sunday roast. I'd invite you to come and join me and it's not really a Sunday roast, but we can have a Sunday brew. So there's our brew. Hello to Miles, who's tuned in this morning. I hope you're well today. And anybody else who's going to tune in as well. Or if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much for joining us on the replay as well. So I didn't really set any particular subject matter today. So I've just been thinking to myself, what shall we have a chat about today? So as always, the platform is open for you to ask me any questions about social media and video. Because if you don't know who I am, I'm Simon Scholes. I am the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we create video content for brands, for businesses, helping them create content that really helps them stand out on their social media, as well as lots of other stuff that they want us to create as well, like showcase videos, health and safety videos, aerial content, all that kind of stuff. We do loads of different types, but we specialize in social media content. And a few years ago, it kind of became very prevalent to me that a lot of smaller businesses and even SMEs as well, small to medium-sized businesses, couldn't necessarily afford to have somebody create content for them, but there was a world of opportunity open to them to create content for themselves. So basically, I wanted to try and help as many people as I possibly could get started on that content creation journey. So today, I want to help you start your content creation journey, basically. So I want you to start creating content, but there's one thing that you need to do before you start creating content, apart from knowing who your avatar is, which we'll go into another day, but that is to actually plan your content yourself. Plan what it is you're going to be talking about, either on a daily basis or on a weekly basis with the content that you're going to be creating. Because if you don't plan anything, then you're a bit screwed. As my 5 Ps says, and my 5 Ps are written in my book, How to 9 Times Your Social Media. Preparation prevents piss poor performance. And that takes its way through, all the way through the How to 9 Times Your Social Media process. Because if you're not prepared and don't understand what you're going to be writing about, then writing your blog becomes difficult. If you don't understand what you've been writing about, then actually preparing to do a live video becomes very difficult. And you end up with piss poor content going out because you're not giving value in it or anything like that, because you've not really thought it out. And a lot of people end up with this scattergun approach to their social media content where, yes, it's nice to just type something in and stick it out on Twitter now and again, but actually having a plan of action, understanding what you're going to be talking about on either on a daily or a weekly basis, like I say, helps you create that content and helps you stay away from being scattergun and actually helps you create content that's on one subject matter all the time. So one of the ideal examples that I give people is look at brands like IKEA. Every year, they split their year into different segments, and their advertising content is dedicated to that particular segment of the year. So whether it be summer or winter or spring or autumn, they try to stick to those particular periods. But what they do is they call it the kitchen season or the bedroom season or the outdoor furniture season. Now, their outdoor season can cover a multitude of areas because it could be outdoor tables, it could be outdoor chairs, it could be outdoor games, it could be outdoor grills, all sorts of things. Their kitchens area could cover all sorts of things: glasses, cutlery, crockery, a brand new kitchen, white goods as well. So what they're doing is going, right, okay, we're going to talk about this specific area, and then we can go a little bit wider on the expanse when it comes to selling the products in store. And you can do the same thing, but more often. So rather than doing it 4 times a year, you write a blog every single week, and then you can expand on that blog within your content when you're putting it out throughout the week. And also you're going to repurpose that blog into other content anyway as well. But you can't do that unless you know what it is you're going to be talking about. This is where planning is so important. So we're going to talk about planning a little bit. Let's have a look at the comments, see who's around. We've got Miles, who's just been out for a 9-mile run. Wow, name after the amount of miles you go climbing. 9 miles, that's impressive. We took Max for a 1-mile walk and he was knackered. If you are watching, doesn't matter what platform you're on this morning, whether you're on Facebook in the business group, Facebook on the How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, on YouTube, on Periscope, on Twitter, on Twitch, wherever you are, let us know that you're there. Say hello in the comments. It'd be really good to see who's out there, who's actually watching. I need to log into Twitch, I think, to see who's commented there. So I'll log that in there now. One of the things I've done this morning, actually, and I go on about not needing perfect content, and a lot of the times when I'm filming and stuff like that, we use microphones, lapel mics, but they're not really suitable for this environment. So I've bought myself a new microphone, which is apparently going to come on Friday. Oh, hello.
Ready?
Yeah, no, go away. What's that all about? Anyway, so there we go. We're live on Twitch as well. So I bought myself a microphone this morning. So at some point next week, we'll have a big arm sticking here, and I'll cover up my face, which would be ideal for most people who don't want to see me. So as always, like I said earlier, the floor is open to your questions this morning. If you've got any questions at all about social media, about video, about your marketing in general, just drop them in the comments on whatever platform you're watching on right now, whether it be in the replay or whether you're watching live right now, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as we possibly can do. Also, don't forget, if you join the How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, download my book. It's completely free. It's a former #1 book. It takes you through the whole process that I take my clients through of how to 9 times their social media, how to get more content from creating one thing. And that one thing that you create is a blog. So yeah, you can do loads of stuff with just one piece of content. Miles has got to go now, but he just popped on briefly. He's going food shopping. Well, you stay safe going food shopping, and you have a great week as well. And we'll catch you possibly on another live stream very soon. So yeah, so absolutely. Drop your questions wherever you are, and we'll do our best to answer any of them. And if you are a little bit embarrassed to ask a question, you're like, well, I'm not so sure I really want to on the live stream, how about you drop me an email on that email address just there, scrolling across the bottom, and you can do it in secret. I can go check out what the question says, leave your name out of it, and answer your question that way instead. And don't forget, if you're mentioning me or the streams or anything else like that on social media, make sure you include the hashtag How to 9 Times Your Social Media. That's the hashtag that I use all the time. So anyway, right, let's get ourselves into today's content. So that is planning. Now I'm going to try something new today. So I'm just going to load up a couple of screens because one of the things I think is really ideal for people to create content is to tie it back into events that are happening around the world, whether it be like a national day or a national month or whatever is actually going on. So I use a couple of websites. I'm just going to load them up. I'm having to tether to my phone, so it's a little slower, but our internet has gone crap again today where we actually are in Andover. But that's BT for you. So yeah, so I think it's really important to try and tie your content into something that is going to be of interest to people, whether it be on that specific day or that specific month and so on and so forth. So example, I did some podcast work with a cancer charity. We created some great podcasts, some great videos, interviewing different people, and they were all men as well because it was dedicated to men's health. In fact, what I will do is when this video is ended, I'll put a link to them in the section below because they're about mental health and that kind of stuff. And right now, actually probably really ideal for everybody to sit down and watch and have a listen to what people are saying and that kind of stuff. And some of them are really uplifting stories as well. So I'll put links to those in the description when this is all over and done with. But anyway, so created podcasts for them. And then they were saying, right, okay, so what do we do with this content? How do we get more people to see it? And obviously, my obvious response was, number one, need to repurpose it, turn it into more content. But then you could use the smaller pieces of content on days like National Prostate Cancer Day or Prostate Cancer Week, or whether it be Breast Cancer Awareness Month or whatever it is, you could tie it back into those events. Another good example is I was working with she's a leadership coach. Hello to a couple of new people. Hello to Asian Bao, who's tuned in on Twitch. Thank you very much for joining us. And Ed McIntyre as well. He's tuned in this morning. We're having a good weekend. Yes, thank you very much. Going to get ready to make a Sunday roast a little bit later, hence the name of the stream this morning. So yeah, I was working with a leadership coach, and we were going through her marketing plan. And we were talking about what she's going to create for the full year. We sat down for quite a few hours and we were putting together what she's going to talk about for the full year, going through different events that are happening throughout the year. And we got to the very end of it. She said, well, when should I start? And it was in May. We were doing this very early May. And I said, right, okay, can you get a blog written tonight? And she was a bit perplexed by what I was saying. And I said, well, if you can write a blog today, we can put it out tomorrow on May the 4th. May the 4th, as everybody knows who's into it. I know Ed doesn't like Star Wars all that much, but May the 4th is Star Wars Day because of May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, get the joke? Absolutely. So my idea was for her to write a blog about leadership, but tying it back into Star Wars. So basically writing a blog about how the architect of the Death Star didn't see the weakness in the Death Star because Darth Vader was a shitty boss and was too driven into being a micromanager and not being a very nice guy. So the architect of the Death Star made a mistake because his boss wasn't great. And that was what she did. She wrote a blog back into that content, tied it back into that idea, and it was one of her best performing blogs straight away. And that was created overnight. That was literally done there and then pretty much. But that's what I want you to start thinking about with your content as well, is thinking, what can you tie it back into? So that when you're looking to write your blog, which would be your first piece of content, your doorway to content, you have an idea what you're going to tie your content back into. So I use a couple of websites to help me with this. Very quickly, I miss Toby Carvery. You would not believe how much Suzanne and I are constantly going, oh man, it would be so nice to go for a Toby Carvery. I love Toby Carvery. It's so good. And the Yorkshire puddings are almost as good as mine. And I'm a Yorkshireman, so me saying that must mean they're pretty good. But anyway, yes, back into the matter at hand. So planning your content, how do you know what events are going to be happening? So I'm going to try and share my screen with you right now. Is obviously easiest with two monitors. So I'm going to share that screen there. So I do that. And can I do this? So if I go to Safari, right, okay, this is going to be interesting. I don't know how this is going to work. So if I just share my entire screen, do that. Oh no, it's not working. Just give us a moment. So, oh blimey, no, I'm not going to. It's going to take forever to do it. I think I'll just go back to actually go back to here, and we'll see if we can get it sorted while I'm chatting to you. So I use a couple of websites, and the websites that I use help you understand what events are happening day by day. And one of them is a web called The Fact Site, thefactsite.com, and the other one is a website called nationaltoday.com. And both those websites give you a list of different events that are happening on those days, and they don't necessarily always tie together, which is why I use a couple of websites, because not always do you want to be using the actual national day that it is. So for example, today on National Today, it is saying today is National Garlic Day. So obviously, if you are a chef, then you could tie your content back into that. But for me, how would I make that work for my brand, my business? And we try and find a way of doing that. Asian Bow has got to go, not to worry, but thank you very much for tuning in. And don't forget, you can watch the full thing on replay on any of my social media channels. So don't worry if you've missed it on Twitch. You can go check out my content on any of my other social media channels and watch this on replay. So don't worry if you have to go today. But thank you very much for tuning in, Asian Bow. That's right. Bow or boy, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be pronounced, but hopefully I'm getting it right. But anyway, so yeah, these two websites are absolutely great. Today is a National Garlic Day, apparently. Okay, there's updates from my Mac. No, I don't want any updates from my Mac. Thank you. Go away. No, I don't want to update. Just want system preferences. So I can try and show you this. Okay, here we go. So security and privacy. I should have checked this before, shouldn't I? So yeah, today's National Garlic Day doesn't really work for me, but it might work for somebody else. However, the other website right now, it is saying that today, which is obviously the 19th, so I scroll down to the 19th, and today is Hanging Out Day. Now, obviously, that is a perfect one, especially at a time when we can't do social hanging out. Maybe today you could have held a piece of content which was, you know what, today is National Hanging Out Day, so why don't we all hang out? Just like we're doing right now. And in fact, you could have said, let's have a hangout, and then you could ask me some questions about what we're talking about. So you could do a Q&A about your hangout while you're in your hangout celebrating National Hangout Day. How cool would that be? Hello to Dylan Vipers, who's just tuned in on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us, Dylan. So it's all about tying your content back into things. So today we're talking about planning your content. So what I want you to do is think about how you're going to tie your content back into events that are happening. So those are just a couple of the websites that I use, but what could you do to try and just actually, yes, a perfect example of planning prevents pitch performance, absolutely. But anyway, so your planning would really help you create that blog content because it just helps you understand exactly what you're going to be doing in the near future. So take a look at some of these websites. Think about how you're going to plan your content. Think about what you're going to write about, and then plan this just a week, just the next 7 days, because you want to be creating content every single day. Social media doesn't switch off. It's on for 365 days a year. It's on for 7 days a week. It's on for 24 hours a day. It doesn't turn off. So you can be creating and publishing content any time in the day you want, on any day that you want. Now, I know we're in a weird situation right now, but you've got to kind of take that rule beyond this lockdown situation, which we're all in at the moment, and actually start thinking, right, okay, well, when I go back to work, I work a 5-day week. That is fine, but social media doesn't. So you need to start considering on a weekend, there are going to be people who might not necessarily actually have access to the internet or their social media channels during the week because their boss maybe isn't keen on it. And let's face it, what boss is keen on you spending your time doing social media rather than the work you should be doing? Or maybe they're just completely unable because they work in a supermarket, and obviously checking your phone as you're stacking shelves doesn't really work, or scanning stuff on a checkout doesn't really work, does it? You can't sit there checking your phone. It's very unprofessional. You don't see people doing that. So these people, they use social media in an evening when they get home, if they've got the energy to do that, but also on a weekend, they use it more. They lay in bed for longer and start scrolling through the phone or their tablet. They'll sit on the sofa and watch episodes of Columbo while they're scrolling through the phone. And don't forget as well, people are using their phones all the time. So when the adverts come on the TV, they go on the phone. They go to the toilet, they take the phone with them. So just remember these kind of things, but especially on the weekend, the actual usage of social media does drop down, but it's a different audience. It's a new audience. Right now, everybody's using it all the time because people want news, people want value, people want entertainment, people want to completely distance themselves from everything that's going on and get something new from actually what they're consuming on social media. But just generally, actually, they just want to be social. So you can start putting out more content on a weekend that's actually going to start talking to people on a weekend. That brand new audience. And just remember, this lockdown situation, this situation we're in now, it's very weird. It's unusual, but it is going to go away. It is going to end at some point. And when this situation does end, and like I say, it will end, you're going to go back to working your 5 days a week on your brand and on your business, and on a weekend completely forget about your audience. And your competition are going to go, you know what, it wouldn't hurt to put out a couple of pieces of content this weekend on all our social media channels. And they'll do that, and then a brand new audience will see their content and they won't see yours. And that's not what you want. So just remember, plan your content, and then you've got a full week's worth of content. So plan for the next 7 days what you're going to talk about and put that content out. Get yourself into the habit now while you've got the time, because back in the UK, I don't know about everywhere else, but in the UK, we're locked down for another 3 weeks. It's as simple as that. Yes, I know you're probably still busy working and doing other stuff, but don't forget that social media will work that 7-day week. So don't stop posting stuff on a weekend when you come out of lockdown and back into the office or back into your business and you just want to work 5 days a week. You could still even automate stuff on a weekend. I'm not a big fan of automating stuff and putting stuff out on an automated template, but you can still do that. Even if it's just putting tips out that just go on a rolling basis, that's absolutely fine. And then do daily content that's actually connected to that day. Hopefully I've not garbled this too much, and it's kind of, you understand what I'm talking about. I basically want you to start planning your content so that you understand what you're going to be talking about day by day. And you don't need to go so in depth as to what you're going to post where, because frankly, that then comes down to the point of actually you need to be creating content that's specific to Instagram, content specific to Snapchat, content specific to TikTok, to Instagram, to Twitter, to YouTube, to Facebook. All those channels are very different channels, and you need to create content specifically to the audience that's on there. But right now, I just want to get you creating. I just want to get you into that process of making content. So plan the next 7 days. Look at those websites and see what you can find on those websites that will help you start creating more content. Okay, that's all I want you to do. Start creating more content. Here we go. So assistant preferences, security and privacy. We're going to see if I can share the screens, because I think sharing the screens would make it a lot easier for you guys to see the websites that I'm talking about. Ed is talking about people going to the toilet while they're on social media. It is 100%. It's where most people check their social media channels. It's a weird, I know that is odd. I know it's a little bit strange, but it is exactly what people do. Oh no, well, I'm not doing that. Okay, so I can't show you the screen until I close down Google Chrome, so we won't do that. But 2 websites, I'm going to write them into the banner so that you can see what they are. The first one is thefactsite.com. Okay, so check this one out, factsite.com, and we're going to show it, that one there. Check out thefactsite.com. That one is a long page, and you scroll through it and find the date that you want to work on, and it gives you a bunch of different examples of what that day is connected to. So like I say, today could be Hangout Day, which is on the fact site, or it could be National Garlic Day, which is on the other website that I'm going to suggest you go and check out, and that is nationaltoday.com. So I'm going to hide that one now, edit that, and nationaltoday.com. Okay, so it's that, basically. Really great website. There are loads of other ones out there, and it's just a case of knowing what the national day is and then tie your content back into that. The reason it's best to do it on a website and not go to something like Twitter, which will have it trending, is because then it's a bit late. It's putting you in that position of, right, okay, today is Hangout Day, and knowing what the day is that very day, and then having to create content instantly to connect to that particular day. Whereas if you've got it planned, then you don't end up struggling. You don't end up going, oh, you know what, I can't be bothered, I'm not going to do it. Because if you've got that plan in place, if you plan the next 7 days, then you can start creating content for tomorrow, today. And then you might get that finished and you go, you know what, I'll create content for Tuesday today. And then tomorrow you might create for Wednesday and Thursday. And then you see what I'm saying? You could create content way in advance. So you've got it all ready to just go, and you just send it to your phone or upload it to your computer and just go, bang, done. Write a little description, post, my piece of content's gone out live, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you've got content going out. But you can't do that unless you've got a plan in place, unless you know what you're going to be talking about on a day-to-day basis. Now, like I say, it is better if you create content specific to each channel, because obviously the audience ages, the demographics, that kind of thing are very different on each channel. But right now, I just want you to be creating content. So create content that you can just share everywhere, because that is far better than not sharing anything at all. If you're not communicating, nobody can hear what it is that you've got to say. So have we got any questions today? Even questions about planning, because I kind of garbled my way through that a little bit. Maybe it's not quite sat well with you and you want explaining a bit more. Or have you got any other social media questions? Any questions about video? It's a beautiful day outside, so hopefully you sat outside watching this on your phone or with your laptop or with your tablet and enjoying the sunshine. I've just been out for my 1 hour's exercise, which was very enjoyable, and we enjoyed that, having a walk around the park. So yeah, any questions, chuck them in the comments right now. We'll stay on for about 30 minutes today, unless we get loads of people getting in touch. And yeah, that's it really. The floor's open to you guys right now. Whatever questions you want to ask, I'll do my best to answer them. And also, if you want, you're more than welcome to come live on the broadcast as well and talk about your brand and your business to my audience. I'm more than happy to invite you to come and join me. All you've got to do is let me know in the comments, Simon, I'd like to come live with you. It's as simple as that, and then I'll invite you on the live, and you can have a chat about your brand, your business, what I can help you with, maybe on social media or on video content, and we'll do our best to answer as many people as possible and get as many people on the stream as possible, and give you some free publicity. Let's face it, even if your brand and business is just your YouTube channel, it's still a brand. It could still potentially become a business, and you might need a little bit of help trying to grow that or something. So just let me know, and yeah, we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we possibly can do today. And if you don't have time right now to sit and ask a question, or there's something you kind of the brewing in the back of your head, don't forget you can email me on the email address which is going along at the bottom there, and we can either book a one-to-one chat and do some Skyping, or we can just answer it on email, or I can just take all your details out of it and answer it on the next live stream. There was a question earlier. I did see one earlier, actually. Let's just have a look. I'm just scrolling through I think it was from Ed. One second. Here we go. What are your thoughts on premiering video on YouTube? Do premieres reach less people than video which you just make live? Okay, so YouTube treats Premiere really, really well. It loves it. Again, I've mentioned this the other day. Software, social media channels love you using the software that they've created specifically for their channel. Obviously, Facebook now do premieres as well, but it's a great, number one, YouTube will push that content out. Not harder, but they will push it to a slightly bigger audience. So most platforms, when you publish a piece of content, you might not know this, will only push it out to about 5% of your audience. And then what they do is the algorithm looks at that and goes, right, okay, 5%'s got it, let's see what happens. And if that 5% then interact with that content, and it goes out to the people who regularly interact with your content as well, the people who are their favorites of that content, then what they do is they look at that and go, right, okay, that's got a good interaction rate, lots of people have seen it, lots of people have liked it, quite a few people have commented on it as well, right, we'll push it out slightly further. Well, that percentage is slightly higher on YouTube Premiere, so slightly more people will get to see it. Also, it's what YouTube Premiere is really good for is people with a big audience. So if you've got a big audience, then when you premiere it, the whole point of premiering a piece of content on YouTube or on Facebook as well, because Facebook give you that opportunity now as well, is that then you can interact with your audience live as they watch that piece of content. Because people will be leaving comments, but it works a bit like a live stream. They leave the live stream comments, and then you can interact with them. And it goes back again to what I was talking about yesterday, is actually that social element of being on social media. It's so important, and it doesn't matter how big your audience is, people love that level of contact, that level of interaction with the person that they're watching. Because let's face it, they're watching because they get value from you, they either look up to you, they admire you as a creator, and so they're getting something from it, and then you're going to give them even more from it by actually responding to the comments. So think less of the fact of the reach of the premiering, and also think more about the fact that your audience have got a chance to interact with you live as they watch that piece of content live. Now, it might not take off straight away, but if you do it on every single piece of content and word gets out that you're always there, you're always responding to comments, more and more people, if you've got a big enough audience, will start to come and ask questions or comment on the content because they just want that level of interaction between the creator and then themselves. So it's a really great way of building some real emotional connection between you and your audience. So forget about the numbers, although you will get more people being pushed to the content, and think more along the lines of, actually, I'm interacting with my audience, so they're going to get more from this than just sitting and watching the content. It's like sitting down with your best mate and then talking about the film afterwards. It's a really great thing to do, trust me. So yeah, definitely premiere content if you can do. If you've got the time, do it. If you don't have the time, it's understandable, but maybe you could do a premiere once a week or something, or a premiere once a month, and make it a big event and that kind of stuff, and draw people back into the content. Right, okay, on Friday the 13th, I'm going to be doing a premiere of my latest piece of content. You can come and join me. We'll answer all your questions. We'll chat in the chat while it's premiering the piece of content. So it's a really cool way of doing stuff. Chris Davis from Rossbrook has got in touch. He says, hi, Simon. If you cannot commit to blogging every day, which, yeah, don't worry about blogging every single day. Is there a better time of the week to post? Do weekdays or weekend posts get more views and traction? So for what you do, definitely weekdays. Chris is an accountant. It's 100% always draws back into understanding who your avatar is. Understand who your avatar is, understand when they're going to be online, and then hit them at that point. and then make other content to fit in around that at different times, because there is a chance that they might drift in their usage of social media day by day. But always try and post to them at the particular time that they're going to be online. But it's 100% understanding who your main niche avatar is. Obviously, as an accountant, you have a lot of businesses that you work with, but it's understanding that main niche. Who is your main type of client, whether it be a monetary value, whether it be a location, whether it be they're male, they're female, what kind of sports they enjoy doing, do they get home and go for a run? So you need to sit down, if you haven't done already as a business, and I'm sure you have, and understand who your avatar is completely before you can understand when you need to be posting. Blogging every single day, not important. Blogging once a week is probably my main suggestion for generally any business. And then you can make content in and around that to post across the entire week. Because if you've blogged, then you can do video. You don't have to be on the video. I know you're very personable and enjoy being, I'm assuming, enjoy being on video. I'm guessing you do. You're great when we go networking and things like that. But if you don't want to be on video, you can still have video content created using different apps, which will create textual videos, which you can still post out and about to places. You can still create memes that will tie back into that and back into the blog as well. You could record a podcast, even if it's reading the blog word for word, not ideal, but it's still audio-based content. You can then edit those audio pieces into smaller videos as well. There's a lot of stuff you can do just with a blog, and it's just about making that work for you. There are even ways of getting the blog written for you. So if you don't even have the time to write the blog, or your marketing team doesn't really have anybody who's a great writer on the team, then you can still actually get blogs written for you by either copywriters, or we have teams that we work with who do blogs for people, and depending on how many words they want to use, and what you would do is give them a bunch of data and they go, right, okay, thank you very much for that, and then write a blog in and around that data and then around the subject matter you want to tie it back into. So there's all sorts you can do, but blogging once a week is what I would recommend for most people. I'm blogging almost every single day for the simple reason that what I can do is I can take some of the other content I create. So I create a video on my phone most days and connect it to whatever the national day actually is. And then I get that transcribed and captioned by rev.com, which is a website I use to do video captioning, subtitles on the videos. And they also give you an option to download a transcription of that captioning. So basically a written version of it. And I simply post that straight away as a blog. I don't bastardize it. I don't change it in any way, shape, or form. I just write a little note at the top of my blog. This is a transcription of a recent video. Please feel free to have a read, because I know some people would prefer to read content rather than watch it. I then also embed the video back into that as well, so people can watch the video if they would prefer rather than reading it. And that comes back to some of the stuff I was talking about yesterday, and about making your website and your content work harder for you and increasing your SEO and so on and so forth. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch yesterday's Dazed, Confused and Generally Buggered, because going over it all again would be crazy when you could just go and watch yesterday's video as soon as this one finishes. But great question, Chris. Absolutely. Weekdays or weekends, like I say, for you, boils down to the avatar, probably most likely going to be a weekday. There are more people on social media on a weekday. There is no getting over that when we get out of this lockdown situation. Right now, I don't really know. I don't think there's a real answer to it at the moment. And nobody really knows what the usage data is actually like. I would probably say it's probably flatlined a little bit at the moment, and everybody's on social media all the time. Because like I say, people are searching for news, searching to see what's happening, searching to chat to their mates, talk to anybody about anything other than the C word. I'm not going to mention it because, yeah, they currently have softwares that are picking up about the C word and punishing the content that mentions the C word. So we won't mention the C word. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully that kind of helps. Although it's not going to help you creating content right now, because like I say, I think it's a bit of a flat line. I would probably just get yourself into the habit of creating content for the audience that you're going to create it for, your avatar, now, rather than worrying too much about what the audience is going to be doing now, because we are eventually going to come out of this situation, and then you're going to have to change how you work. So literally start creating content right now for when the peak of the audience would be online, when we come out of this whole lockdown situation. But yeah, great question, really good question. Has anybody else got any other questions about blogs or marketing plans or social media or video generally? Whatever, I don't mind. Just chuck them my way. I'm going to drink on my coffee. And while you're potentially thinking of your questions, don't forget, you can come and join me every single day. I'm putting content out onto my How to 9 Times Your Social Media group. Lots of short videos, longer videos, just content to really help you get creating content, even written stuff. We try and have conversations in there and stuff like that as well. So come and join the group. It's on Facebook, How to 9 Times Your Social Media, How to 9x Your Social Media. And on that group as well right now, I'm posting this link on lots of different places, but right now, the pinned link, the top link on there, is where you can download a free copy of my book, How to 9 Times Your Social Media, and it will take you through the whole process that I work with my clients on. Now, there are elements where it will need more of a thought process for you as a brand and as a business, so it's very generic, but we'll take you through what I suggest you think about doing, what you can do as a business and as a brand, easily yourself to create content for free. And free is my favorite 4-letter word, which really proves I am 100% a northerner, even if I live down south these days. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to go off and start making the Sunday roast. It is 12 o'clock after all. I'm going to slow cook some chicken and make some Yorkshire puddings and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much for taking part today. Thank you for joining in. Sorry it was half an hour late. But yeah, getting Max down to sleep sometimes is an interesting experience, shall we say. I'll be back again tomorrow at 11-ish. Fingers crossed we can take him out for a walk and get him tired tomorrow and get him into bed for 11 o'clock. And so I will see you as close to 11 as humanly possible. And until then, have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday roast or whatever it is you're going to be having. And I will catch you in 24 hours time. Have a good one and enjoy the sunshine. It's going to last for the full week, so make the most of it. Absolutely.